do you see around you? What do you feel around you in this moment?
I'm seeing huge doors in front of me, and I have a strange feeling of being connected to this place, but also being connected to myself in the current life. So it's I think this is what the Arcturians were just helping with, giving me remembrance, because I feel that I'm in both realities at the same time. So I can be in this reality now in front of these doors, but I can also, I'm partly still connected to my current lifetime. So it's as if I'm viewing them side by side. So I can remember and synchronize the frequencies.
And as you look around you, what else do you notice?
The energy, the frequency is very high. It's really easy to be here.
Mm. And,
It's really easy just to breathe and live and exist.
and what do those doors look like?
Like big, huge golden doors. They're huge. They also, they look old, but they are ornate, but they also, they have a technology. So it's almost like ancient world meets futuristic world, because there's a technology, like a sensor. So you can just move, you can move through the doors really easily. They open.
Mm. As you open those doors and you move through, what do you see on the other side?
It's like it's like a place of meeting, and it looks like lots of rock formations and crystals, like it's inside and it's been constructed, but it looks as if it's part of nature. Beautiful.
And as you ground yourself into that space, you look around in that beautiful space. Now let's take a look at your body. You can look down at your body. What does that look like? What sort of a body do you have?
I'm in the feminine form, and I feel like I'm tall and slender, but very physically strong. The strength doesn't quite match what the body might look like, but there's a lot of physical strength. This comes from the energy field.
Yeah.
Long white gown or robe of some kind. It's very material is like silk of some kind. It feels like that. It's flowing and very soft and, yeah, very comfortable and
Do you,
beautiful.
do you have anything on your head, or are you holding anything in your hands?
I have some jewels of some kind on the head. They're like, I think they're crystals. Yeah, they're decorative, but then they also hold uh, an enhanced vibration of some kind. So the crystals have been selected uh, in line with my work. Yeah.
And tell me more about your work and what it is that you do.
Here to harmonize the frequencies, direct the energies, build things with the Christ consciousness, and I have a guidance role with the people, because there are some challenges going forward, and I can see ahead of time, and so I am part of the council.
And can you tell me more about that? About the challenges and about the council?
There are stirrings of dark forces starting to move across and significantly affect the civilization. We've known about this for some time, but it's starting to take hold. And so there is a lot of discussion and planning around what's the best way to navigate this.
And can you tell me more about the council?
Yes, we're a brotherhood and a sisterhood, a council of beings who are here for the upliftment of humanity, and so we are tasked specifically with lots of different tasks, but the one that is at the forefront is this shifting in energies. There is a feeling that there is a significant change coming, and so it is getting difficult to hold the current frequency that we've been holding here for a very long time. So plans are being made. It's inevitable that we're aware now that there is very little that we can do to prevent this from occurring, and so there has had to be a path that we've gone through from outrage to acceptance to understanding. So to work with each other to really plan what is to come.
And what are the dark forces doing that you were talking about?
They are very much here to undo all of what we have seeded here on Earth. And so there is we will say a war, an attack on the frequency. And so it is to bring through the destruction of all of what we have created in order to bring the planet down into a completely different dimension.
Bring it down into a completely different dimension. How will they do that?
They have been seeding the energies in for a while, but they do it with physical force, and so enough of the energy has been here, and it has somehow affected the planet. We don't fully understand this.
And can you ask to have more clarity as to what you're looking at?
There is a lot of discussion between us. Some are disbelieving what is to come. It doesn't make sense because the frequency is to a certain point here that it does not make sense. And then there are those of us who can see and we understand that this is happening and there is a shift in the Earth's existence. And then a small number of us have access to the future timelines. And so we are also aware that this is part of a greater evolution, and that there is a journey for the Earth to be brought down in its frequency very significantly. And it will, however, be on a trajectory where it will eventually start to rise back up. And this will be a long time ahead in the future. Very, very long time.
And how do you feel about this?
It's very challenging. We are devastated, also disbelieving it at the same time. Understanding it in part, but surely it can't. Surely this cannot be the path.
And at your current point in time, what is the Earth like? Can you describe for me what that's like, what the world around you is like?
Everything is bright and light and colorful. There is abundance in all its forms. We have so much freedom. We create. We have different communities interested in different ways of creating. We have a harmony with nature and technologies and the divine. Everything works in unison, and we advance very rapidly. We are healing.
Can you tell me more about your technologies? What sort of technologies do you use?
It's all around us. It's part of everything that we do. We grow things using technology, but the technology works with the earth, the frequencies of the earth. And so it is higher consciousness technology, so it is nourishing, and it is operating in an entirely higher frequency, and so it nourishes the food, and so we can have a lot of efficiency and healing. And so as we use this more and more, we're starting to advance further. We are bringing in more of the divine energies, and so it is wonderful. There is much love and wonderment.
And
it's golden. Everything is golden frequency
and
color.
And what do the buildings and the people look like?
The buildings are very tall. They're very interestingly shaped. They almost look like crystals, big ones and different shapes. They have different purposes. There are clean materials. It's very, very advanced. If we saw this now from the current timeline, we would feel that it was many, many years in the future. But this is ancient times of Atlantis. This is Atlantean technologies. So we have lots of structures, and they work with the purposes of what they are built for. So if we have healing, we have places of healing that are constructed in a healing frequency. And the beings are all different types of beings. We have many, many beings coexisting.
Mm.
It is
So do you have
colorful.
humans and other types as well?
Yes, we have human types. We have many different creatures and beings. We have different types of humans. We have galactic humans. We have original humans, we will say. We have connections with all of the star races. There is a bit of everything here, and so we're all working in harmony, learning from each other and growing and advancing,
Mm.
co-creating, collaborating. We have many help from the dragons.
Are there Syrian beings there too?
Yes. Yes, from all over the place, all over the universe. They come in and there is a mixture of all of the different types of beings. It is wonderful. There is nowhere quite like this. Unicorns, winged beings, lots of animals. But it isn't chaos, it's organized and structured, but without any restriction. It's very advanced and it's very well managed.
Can you tell me about this plan that you and the council have for that time when the darkness plans its move?
It's challenging because there's some resistance in even making this plan, because there are some who do not feel that this is necessary. There are those of us who can see what's ahead. So we are deciding how to store certain frequencies so that the earth can keep them to be restored and ignited at a later time when humanity is moving through its ascension. We're planning ahead. We know that there is going to be a fall in the civilization, followed by a long period of darkness. But when the timeline reaches a certain point, there will be an inevitable ascension. And so we're looking at how to protect certain frequencies, codes, activations. Some of us are making plans to come back and assist at that point. We already know that we want to. We want to continue our work.
So what happens next? What do you see?
The atmosphere of this place starts to change. We can see it first before it becomes physical. We can see the energies, and it's as if a dark sky is forming. But this is not physical. This is the energetics first, and so we can feel the infiltration starting to come in. There are many attacks, but it erupts very quickly. The earth herself is going through a change.
And
And
can you tell
so
me more about that?
it's very confusing because it all happens very quickly. And so parts of the land start to react as if it's as if the earth gets sick. And so we start to see catastrophes and eruptions. The weather changes, the atmosphere changes, but there's something felt in the air. It doesn't feel like the same frequency. So we're aware that this must be the shift in frequency because we have not experienced this before. And so we're starting to be aware that it feels different. It does not have the same glow. The golden glow that we were very used to is starting to feel heavier. And as this starts to unfold, we start to see the land start to crack in some places.
And can you tell me more about that? About the land cracking in some places?
Out of nowhere, it just starts to break. It's very confusing, and people are starting to have to flee from certain locations. And it's very, very, very heavy. Everybody is feeling sensations that they don't usually feel, very tight and tense in the body. All the muscles are contracting, and there is fear for the first time. Lots of fear. It's very, very different.
And what do the Brotherhood and the Sisterhood of the Light do at this time?
We start to, there are those who now understand more of what some of us were speaking of. And so we unite, and we are in unison because we accept now what is happening. We're seeing more now that this is the destruction of this civilization. And so we do things on the timeline. We set certain points on the timeline, and we decide, it's difficult to describe in words, but we're marking out certain points. And so we're going to continue to assist the Earth through different timelines. And so we know that we will have many incarnations ahead of this timeline in different eras. We will come back and we will seed in certain frequencies, but we know that at certain points the Earth will not yet be ready for its ascension, but we will be doing what is necessary to plot points on the timeline so that we hold certain frequencies. It's very important to preserve these frequencies that we have right now so that they are not lost, that they remain. And so we put them in certain locations here, and we take pieces of them and we anchor them into the timelines, and we will bring them through when we reach those timelines in other incarnations. And we also decide that we will connect and pick up our current work at a point in time when humanity is going through a huge collective shift. This will be at a point where it will be the reverse of what is happening now, and so humanity will be reversing out of the low density, and so it will be starting to shift up into a higher frequency. And so at this point we will wish to start to remember what it is that we were doing and start to connect with one another so that we can continue our work here. So we are planning this, doing something with the timelines, and we are projecting parts of the frequency into various parts of the planet. Also in physical locations, but also energetic locations, so that we can retrieve these when is required.
Wonderful. And now in a moment, we're going to go forward in time to an important moment in this lifetime that we are looking at. We're going to close that last scene, and then we're going to move to a time that it is important for you to see and observe. And 3, we're going to travel through time. 2, almost there. And 1, you are there now. And as you gather your bearings and you look around and observe everything happening in great detail, what is the very first thing that you see around you?
See devastation everywhere. It's very, very difficult to see it.
It's okay, just walk me through it slowly. You can view it as an observer if you like.
It's lots of there's been lots of fires and earthquakes. Things have just been destroyed and broken.
And before this happened, what were the people like? Were they different from those darker energies?
The people?
Yeah. Before this all occurred.
People were light and creative and creating and advancing, and there was love everywhere and joy everywhere. There was no harm to anyone. And they just got swallowed up.
What did they get swallowed up by? You can walk me through this very slowly if you like, as an observer.
The earth started to have cracks, and the earth started to move, and then I only saw some of it from where I was, but it looked like fire everywhere and destruction. But we're moving out of these areas where somehow, I think there is a group of us that are council, and so we're trying to see what's happening help where we can help. Hold those frequencies as much as we can. But it's a losing battle. It's overpowering. There's nothing we can do because our frequency is, we still hold a frequency, but the planet is different. It's taken a hit. I don't know, but it's dark. It's like, it feels like black. I can see black everywhere. Black.
Where is
And
the black coming from? Where is it originating from?
this is the energies. It's not physical, but I can see the energetics of the planet, and it's black and dark, and it's so heavy compared to what we had. It's just heavy, and there's like a black foggy cloud that's like seeped over everywhere. This to me feels worse than the physical earthquakes. This feels like it's gone very wrong. It's gone very wrong. It's not, doesn't belong. This frequency doesn't belong here.
Can you tell me more about that? What makes it so foreign?
Because it's heavy. It's like it's not what this place is. This place is high frequency, but it's heavy, and it's fear, and that everybody is screaming and panicking. They're being taken over by the eruptions, and then the water starts to come in, and there are places being swallowed up by the water, because we can see. We don't have to be in the exact locations, because we have the ability to see. So we know that it's coming. We know that we can't escape it. So we've done what we needed to do. We just have to wait for it to reach us. But there is a heartbreak, a devastation of what's happened.
And where are you preparing to go?
We're preparing just to be consumed by, whether it's fire or water. There isn't a fear of the death itself, because we know ourselves, we understand, we know that we are infinite, but it is the very real physical experience, and it's the devastation of knowing that the earth has been brought down to such a level, and so this is deeply, deeply heartbreaking and painful.
And will some of you travel to other places to pass on the knowledge?
Yes, we know that we will do this. We made plans. We know that our souls contain all of the knowledge and wisdom, and so even though we will be physically destroyed in this place, we understand, we know that we take that with us, that can never be destroyed. But there is something about being in the experience that is very deep. It's very physically, emotionally painful. The heart is grieving for the loss.
And will some of you move to physical locations to save that sacred knowledge, or are all of you deciding to go physically?
We all have to go. We all have to leave physically, but we have we've done various things. We've hidden certain codes into the planet. These cannot be these cannot be destroyed by any physical destruction. They're embedded into the planet. We have assistance as well from certain beings. There are beings that are who've worked with us, who will stay, who will be staying in the physical sense through Earth's ascension. The dragons are some of those beings that they will remain on the planet. They can withstand the physical destruction. And so there are other beings that have gone into parts of the world where it is not on the surface that they can safely hold this information and frequencies. So we have worked with them. We've covered this. We know that all is not lost. We know that we'll pick it up on another point. But it's very, very difficult to see everything, all the beauty, all of the advancement be swallowed up in this way.
And do any of the extraterrestrial visitors, do they assist with this process, or do they assist you?
Yes, they assist in terms of their presence. We are always connected with them. I am also. So this is how we live. They understand that this is a difficult thing to witness. A very difficult thing to witness. And we understand that there'll be more understanding later. But it's just something that has to occur. So I see all the water start to flood in. It's like a huge surge of water. It just overtakes everything. You can't fight it. You can't avoid it.
And where do you see yourself at this point in time?
Trying to accept it, but the physical body has a natural impulse to try and survive, to try and do something, to try and swim and breathe and fight. But it is useless, and so everything's coming in. I can see the water everywhere, and it's just chaos. It's chaos. There's so much fear. And again, that's devastation. That sadness is the worst of all, because you can feel it in the air.
Tell me about where you are at this point. Are you looking at this as an observer, or are you in that scene somewhere?
Yeah, just in the water, and I'm aware of. There's just, you can't catch a breath, so I'm just seeing myself from the outside now. It's just hopeless. It's just horrible. It's just black and dark and cold.
And what happens next? You can watch this as an observer if you wish, if you feel yourself moving out of the body.
I'm aware of love. Just in the last moments of breath, there's a physical struggle, but then the body just fills up with water, and there's just an awareness, very still, and I'm aware of all the love, and everything is very still. Suddenly everything's still.
And now as you exit your body and you drift and float up out of your body and you look down at that scene, what do you see around you as you look back down at your body?
I see everything submerged in water. Everything's just underwater. It's like a cycle has been completed. I can see that, yeah, there's a completion of something that was going to happen.
And do you go back to the light at this time, or do you do something else before making your way back to the other side?
You can feel that there's guidance around me, there's angelic presence around me, and they're just being with me, greeting me, allowing me to, like a transition. So as you start to exit the body, you've exited the body, and there's a transition because of the trauma. There's just a need to just release that, and you go through an energy transition. So there's like an adjustment period. So just adjusting, coming out of that, coming away from that lifetime, and starting to be in light. There's much love and warmth around. And there's already a knowing that the understanding will arrive now, because I'm out of that physical location. And everything's okay. There's much applause and celebration for the contribution made. There are lots of others that have also contributed. And so there's more of a celebration. It's on from this perspective, we can see it, we can understand the wonderful work that we did and how valuable that will be on future timelines, and how nothing has really been lost. Nothing's been lost. It's all been seeded into the planet. So everything is okay.
Now, after some time, you go back towards the light of Source, the light of the all that is. And what do you see or experience as you make your way there?
Big bright energy, like being part of Source, being part of everything. and there's a celebration that great work has been done on the earth.
Now, as you can see much more from that higher perspective, I want you to have a think about what the lesson and purpose was of that particular lifetime. What was the lesson of that particular lifetime?
The lesson was to do with frequencies, to understand in a very physical sense how the frequency creates a certain civilization and a certain advancement. And so being part of this civilization was helping Earth in a very early time period create, and also seeing the destruction of this and the shifting in the frequency has given me a very direct experience, and also a great love for Earth. And so there is a soul desire now, intention to be of as much assistance as I can to the Earth. So this is why I choose and have chosen to have many Earth incarnations, even though I do not originate strictly from the Earth plane. I have a direct relationship with Earth, and so I have many incarnations where I am incarnated there, and many lifetimes where I continue in different capacities with the frequency work. Yes.
Now we will close that scene and bring your current consciousness and awareness back into your body. I want all of the consciousness and awareness of present day you to return back to that body in the light of Source, leaving behind that part of ourselves and the white light of Source for deep integration and healing with our Oversoul. They will find what they need to find, but we are leaving them there to continue on with their journey. And now, in this beautiful white light of Source, I would like to invite our spirit guides to be with you now. You can do that now by sending out that invitation and saying inside your mind, I ask for my spirit guides to assist me now. They may be familiar or not, so let me know when you see, hear, feel, or sense their energy.
Yeah, got the guides around me.
Beautiful. So what is their name, or what sort of guides do you have with you?
We're made up of a lot of different beings. So I have the Arcturians with me as always. Have the angelic realm present, but the dragons have stepped forward for this. The Dragon Collective.
And what is it that they need you to know about this past life that you've just seen?
The reason for my recent reconnection with the dragons is to help me remember and help bring in that part of my consciousness from those times in Atlantis. And so there is no coincidence, of course, that I have been receiving constant reminders and messages around exploring Atlantis in this way. And just showing me the addition of their energy into my team has been an indication that the consciousness of myself from those times has been also brought back in. And so everything is starting to integrate, starting to understand at a deeper level that this mission really is a continuation. Continuing to do the work that I had helped seed in back then. And
how will
doing
you do that
exactly
in this present lifetime?
how.
Yeah.
Again, it's a different timeline, but it is the same work. It's working with the frequencies and helping with the shifting of the frequency from a lower one to a higher one. As the Earth is starting to ascend more rapidly now, there is going to be a feeling of chaos and destruction in terms of the structures, because the structures that have been in place have been supporting the lower frequency. And so in order to move the planet to a higher frequency, there is going to be destruction of some kind in terms of the foundations and all of what these systems have been built on. And so it is to assist humanity to move through this period, connecting into higher frequencies so that they can build and create just as was done before. So this is a very similar work, which is why there is much experience that I have. I'm fully equipped to be doing this at this time. So it's important to understand now where this comes from, why I am doing this. It is also a love for the planet, as I was aware of. It is also to do with the Arcturian part of me wanting to assist humanity, as it has always done, but also understanding the very direct experience I had back then. This is why it is very accurate to say you've been training for this for lifetimes, because you have been doing this.
As we move forward into the ascension period, can they show you what you need to see in order to understand this?
It will not be the same as that time that we visited, but there will be reminiscent energies, because there will be, for some, a lot of fear that comes up into the collective. And so just showing me, yeah, like I know this, I've done this before. It's frequency, it's all frequency. It's to teach humans around frequency, for them to understand how it works, for them to initiate their own higher frequencies, so that they can, when they can move forward, they can create in these higher frequencies. And this will help the ascension move more rapidly. It's to activate other people so that they can remember what they're doing here. There's a lot of remembrance and awakening. You're here to create your own movement, as you were doing. They're showing me it will get bigger and bigger. Not to worry about what it looks like right now. You'll be doing this through this lifetime. It's going to get bigger and bigger.
And can you tell me about that? About this movement getting bigger and bigger?
yeah, the teachings, the information, the channelings, all of what I share will be received by some, and over time they'll be received by many more as the consciousness evolves and starts to accept and understand and become more open. And so, yeah, they're just showing me like it's inevitable. So it's just about keeping on moving, taking one step at a time, keep walking the path just as I'm doing. And yeah, the frequency is shifting. It's inevitable. It cannot be stopped. This, in the way that the destruction that I witnessed, there was an inevitability about it. The civilization had a fall. The ascension is working in the same way. There is an inevitability. The humans are ascending, and so nothing can stop this. There will be attempts, of course, to slow it down or prevent it or derail it, but it is happening. The thing that we can be doing is to help it, to help accelerate it, not in a pushing way, but to help accelerate so it does not need to take as long as it would take without our intervention. And so we are helping to move it along. So there'll be less suffering as a result. There'll be less destruction as a result. The more we seed in this higher frequency, and we will be retrieving certain knowledges, technologies, information, codes, and wisdom, because we've already seeded it into the planet, and we also have it stored energetically for us to collect when is needed. Yes.
And like the times in Atlantis, will there be moments where there'll be some shaking up that happens?
Yes, there will be. Which ways do you mean?
Like turbulence of the energies as we climb forward rather than descend down like last time.
Yes, it may look to those who do not know that it is getting worse, that it is falling, but it is not. What is happening is it is ascending, and so when there is opposition by certain darker energies that wish to keep the planet in a lower vibration and frequency, there will be attempts to stir up the fear, to stir up the heavier frequencies. But this is because the Earth is ascending, and so it is as if it is a last-ditch attempt to prevent this ascension. But it cannot prevent this ascension. It can slow it down. But there are many on the planet who are anchoring in the highest frequencies. And so they will be helping to lead others into these higher frequencies out of the fear. It means to come out of an old paradigm, to come out of a certain way of being and breaking free of this. This is why, yeah, it's showing me the dragon energy has come in at this point, has been activated in me alongside the Arcturian and the angelic, because it's giving me the other part of my self to bring in now, because it's time to bring in this certain energy to help dissolve and burn away when required the fear, the restriction, the limitation, the doubt, creating space for people to step up and over it into more natural ways of being that are connected, that are much more powerful. And so each human, when they connect into this energy, they will start to feel a surge of energy running through their physical and energy bodies, and this will connect them up into what will feel like for many as a different realm. But here on this planet, it is all accessible to every single one. But each one must connect. It cannot be done for them, but it is accessible to every single one who wishes to do this.
And as we were talking before about spiritual space becoming more mainstream, is there anything else you'd like to share on that? Is there any other messages that wish to come through?
Yes, a big piece of the mission is to bring in all of what we are speaking of into more of the mainstream. Yes, because it is a time now where the spiritual knowledge is not to be kept secret anymore. And so some light workers are still operating in the old paradigm, only because they have forgotten. But to keep knowledge circulating within certain spiritual groups, and to exclude perhaps those who they see as not understanding their language. But this in itself keeps the frequency lower when you expand out to spread this knowledge, wisdom, information and coding into a wider sector of people. It starts to rapidly ignite the human population. Humans already know their divinity deep within their souls, but they have entered into a period of forgetfulness. And so when they hear certain words, phrases and codings and they receive them, it can activate them in very, very profound ways. And so there will be more of a calling for many now to start to step out into more of the mainstream parts of the population. And so this will also require a lot more healing and letting go and release of old wounds of persecution and visibility fears and things that you have accumulated in other timelines and lifetimes. But yes, the consciousness will be changing, and this will be on a worldwide level, not just certain communities anymore.
Is that why we were discussing before about a channeler going on a quite a mainstream podcast, being a guest on a mainstream podcast right now?
Yes, this would not have happened in previous times. So yes, this is an indication that the consciousness itself is shifting. There are more conversations being had. There are minds and hearts opening now. There are channels opening now. There is more light being poured into the planet around people, and so they are feeling this, even if they do not have certain spiritual phrases or terminology. They are feeling this. There is a very real felt sense. And so be open now for conversations to be had in circles where you would not usually. And we remind her that she has already been practicing, but she has still some reservation, reminding her that she can bring in her true essence wherever she is, not to hide it or to play it down. Sometimes she does not like to lead with her being a channel because she is aware that some people look at her very blankly or they do not understand. But sometimes she is believing that she will be taken in a certain way, and it may surprise her that when she very calmly and openly explains what it is that she does, there will be more people that are accepting of this than she may realize. And it is also the way that she will deliver it, because she is a very grounded individual and a very warm type of soul. Many will receive and be open from her because of the way that she has delivered it. So not to switch these parts off now. For example, when she gets her hair cut, she tends to steer the conversation away from what she does in the world, but she will find that if she starts to be open now and stand in her full truth, people will receive her in ways that she may find delightfully surprising.
Beautiful. And are there any other messages about the current times and any advice for her on how to move forward?
To continue what she is doing, she's been moving forwards with a different energy now. She is bringing through different energies, higher frequencies, and so she is releasing any remaining fears or concerns around how people may take her messages or her intentions. And so as she does this, she has more potency in her voice, and so really to continue doing just as she's been doing, and integrating all of what has been happening over the last few months, because she has been moving through very significant life changes in her personal life as well as her work and her mission. And so allowing some time to integrate, and yes, looking forward now to the wonderful things to bring out through her books and her teachings and her channeling. Yes.
Beautiful. We also just wanted to ask the higher self a question about the eclipse energies that are happening today. So what can you tell us about those? Because we've been feeling very different as a result of these.
Because the planet is going through, we'll say, a very sensitive time, all the energetics are heightened, and so astrologically there are many things happening on the planet that are having a very felt sense in many humans. And so this is a time where many will be feeling the purging and illumination of perhaps old, stagnant, previous energies, experiences. There could be things that you are aware of, or things that perhaps you are not so consciously aware of, but there is much release and illumination, yes. And so for some this will feel very light and wonderful, and for some it may feel very intense and perhaps exhausting on the physical body. So not to attach too greatly with any of it, just to understand that your body is doing exactly what it needs right now to move through this time. And so this is why some are having disturbances in sleep, different preferences in food, different reactions to people close to you, different decisions being made. And so there is a lot happening. And so relaxing and breathing and making space is going to be a very beneficial way to approach all of this, and not to try to understand it too much from the mind. This is not so much about knowing more from the mind. It is really more about the body releasing and illuminating your clarity and your vision and your path ahead, which is all very much in the body and working through the soul and the energetics.
Beautiful. And is there anything else that she needs to know? Any other messages?
Just to increase the uptake of water as she is moving through a lot of integration. The body is requiring a lot more water, so doubling the water intake right now will assist very greatly. It will also assist the energy, the physical energy of the body. So drinking plenty of water, yes.
Beautiful. And now we're going to leave that part of ourselves there. We're going to visualize and feel a white or golden light cleansing and healing the body now. Let that light fill and seal your energy body surrounding and protecting. Let this light integrate all of those experiences that you just saw firmly into your energetic body, into all of the layers of your energetic body. Feel all of that experience going into your pores, into your cells, into your bones, into your muscles, as you begin to integrate that experience that you just saw within the deepest layers of your physical and etheric bodies. I'll ask that the angels assist with this if that's needed. If you have connected to the wisdom of your higher self, your dragon spirit guides and soul group, now these levels of wisdom can be available to you more and more in daily life. Can you imagine an understanding and a peaceful time in your life? Imagine a time weeks or years into the future. What do you imagine for yourself as the result of integrating these energies?
Moving forward with all of the books, all of the messages being seen by a lot more people just because it's natural. Yeah, and getting out onto more mainstream stages and rooms, and making all of this information around frequency, making it more accessible. Yeah, much more accessible to people who wouldn't usually hear it. It's going to have really big ripple effects doing it that way.
Beautiful. And can your spirit guides give you input about this preview that you've just seen?
Just a glimpse ahead, they're saying, glimpse ahead on the timeline that I'm currently on. And yeah, just they're reminding me that this book, particularly this book, as I understood earlier in our conversation, that just because it feels very straightforward to me, it doesn't mean that people will not benefit greatly from it. And so I understand this more now, the importance of really getting this book out and not to sit on it any longer.